Now, some of you who have been watching my videos will notice that this is a repost. It is. It was recommended to me by the Wonderlusters, one of my good friends who also have a YouTube channel. They recommended when they watched this video that I should give some context and background as to the boat, the race, my history racing on tartan 10s and in general racing sailboats. And I thought that I would do that because I think it's a wonderful idea. This past year, 2024, was the 100th running of the Port Huron to Mackinaw sailboat race. Now, anyone in Michigan likely has heard about the Port Huron or the Chicago Mackinaw, or surrounding in Ohio and Chicago may have, or Illinois and Ohio may have heard of this race. It is one of the longer freshwater races for sailboats in the world, as far as I know, and it attracts sailors from all over the place, and this being the 100th running was no different. We had way more than 350 boats. It was somewhere around 350, but it was more than 350 boats that lined up to race the race, as far as I know, in many different classes with many different sizes and all types of different boats. That there were catamarans, there was a square, like almost a square-rigged, 100-and-something foot long boat with multiple masts. There were catch-rigged boats, which means that they have a rear mast on the boat for more main sail area. There were also monohulls that are similar to ours, of various sizes. Generally, they go as small as like 26, and then they get fairly big. The Great Lakes 70s and whatnot are pretty large boats. We raced this year with 6 guys. Usually, we race between 5 and 6. This was kind of a dream team set up this year. We wanted to put together some guys that my dad had won and held the record for the fastest shore course Port Huron to Mackinaw race. He held it for like 17 years on a tartan 10 just like this. Not this specific tartan 10, but a different one that he had. Some of the guys that were on the race, a bulk of them, were on the boat for him when they did that, and I believe it was 1993. And one of the guys that raced with us was the son of one of the guys who was on the boat that year, which was pretty cool. And me being my father's son, that was really cool for me, and it was really cool for my dad. So I have raced 13 as of this running of 2024. I've raced 3 Chicago Mackinaws when I was younger. I raced my first one on this exact boat right here, and this boat is called Tenacity. It is hull number 10 of the Tartan 10 series, which is pretty cool. We have been racing tartan 10s for a very, very long time. My dad had them before I was born, and in fact, we'll put a photo right here of me as a kid on one. They are very comfortable in terms of when you're on deck, very safe keel boats, so they can't flip over. They have a huge keel, so they're not like a dinghy that can flip over. They are extremely safe in heavy weather. They are very high. The freeboard is what it's called. The painted green area is very, very high above the water. Super duper safe boat. They sail very, very well for their length, especially they were designed as a one design sailboat. So generally when we race them, we could have anywhere from 5 identical boats or so up to 30 plus identical sailboats all starting together in one race, which is super duper cool and really fun to participate in. However, those races are somewhat far in between, and the Port Huron Mackinaw hasn't seen a one design tartan 10 start in a very, very long time. Even when I did my first race, we were racing what was called PERF, or performance rating. We were racing against boats that were different than us, and then there's a rating system that is supposed to level the performance between all these different types of designs, different lengths, different weights, different amount of crew, different amount of sail area. So we were at somewhat of a disadvantage because we were racing the boat as a stock tartan 10 with one design, main, jib, spinnaker size. So this year we wanted to do something different. Not only did we put a little team of guys together that were very good sailors, we also modified the boat extensively to make the boat perform a little better. The hull itself, below the waterline, is untouched, unmodified. It still would, it still absolutely measures in as a tartan 10. We did strengthen up the transom and improve the strength of the boat all around, so it'll never be able to race as a one-design tartan 10 ever again. We raced with the original mast. However, we added a masthead spinnaker, which is something tartan 10's never had, which is really, really cool, and it gave the boat a lot of power. We also ran a bigger mainsail to improve the amount of sail area we had. The biggest place the tartan 10s are a little slow is light air and moderate air. In heavier, they have plenty of sail area to go fast. and therefore we were not optimizing the boat for high wind. We were optimizing the boat for light air and moderate air. So we added strength so that we could carry more sail area without having any problems. And we added sail area, specifically the downwind sail, the big spinnaker. I wish I had a picture of that flying. It's just a beautiful sail. We also cut the transom out of the boat that you're seeing right here to make it easier to get back on the boat. And in the case of an emergency, it's a lot easier to pull someone on the boat through the transom than it would be if you a normal tartan 10 would have a totally flat back surface that goes all the way to the top. There where you see above where it says tenacity, that rail up there, that line would be projected all the way around the transom, and it is very hard to get somebody, especially if they're hurt, back on the boat. So we added that. It also allows when big waves are coming onto the boat, they wash right out of the transom, so you don't hold water. So it's a very safe thing to do. As you can see, anybody's familiar, we were accused because of our performance was very well. We were accused of cheating or whatever. We ended up taking a third in class. We were first to finish in our class by an hour or two. And the boats that corrected over us, we ended up taking a third in class. A last place boat corrected over us into first place. They finished like 6 hours and 50 minutes behind us. And then the boat that took second corrected over us by about 6 hours. So we did extremely well. We were the fastest boat in the fleet, in our class. So we owed everybody time. And when that happens, sometimes boats that are slower end up correcting over you because they get different wind. We ended up in a hole. And that's okay because that is part of sailing. So that is a little review of what this boat is and was. I'll put some pictures in here, so hopefully you enjoy that. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Bye. What I was getting at was if you're familiar with the tartan 10 hull shape, you can tell that that boat has not been modified under the water. That is the original tartan 10 keel, tartan 10 rudder. The underside skag is all the same. Nothing on the bottom side of the boat has been modified, and that is the original mast that came with the boat. So I wanted to show the racetrack here. This is the entirety of Division 2, which was like 155 boats. We were way up at the front, which was really cool to be up there. And then that is us in class, little green boat right there leading. This was about 2 o'clock-ish on the first day, so Saturday at about 2 o'clock approximately.